When you go for your sim check, you want to demonstrate your best professional abilities, that you are competent, diligent, and cool under pressure. But how many times did you come out of the simulator feeling that you perform at your best? Or how many times your performance was impacted by that fear of simulator scenario, unpredictability, and uncertainty? Well, if you want to know why your performance can degrade in the sim and what you can do to change this rather frustrating situation, then this video is for you. Here you will get a different perspective on what you can do to practically control your stress so you can change your simulator experiences from now on. My name is Cristian Mandu. I am an A320 instructor and examiner, a CRM trainer, and I am passionate about practical human factors in aviation. On this channel, I aim to share my simulator instructor and examiner observations and experience and give you simple tips and tricks for specific simulator challenges, everything anchored on a unique, practical approach to understanding and controlling your stress, what broadly can be referred to as human factors and resilience development. In this video briefing, I will give you a different, practical understanding on how you can boost your simulator confidence and performance using a simple management structure, so when you go for your next sim, you will know that the scenario does not matter. And I say that again. The scenario does not matter because the management structure is always the same. Make sure to download this free failure management structure called Managing the 99% Summary at a320captain.com. In this video series, we will detail each step of this structure so you can tailor it in accordance with your company's SOPs and use it to practice for your future simulator checks. In this particular video, you will learn why Startle and Surprise can instantly decrease your performance and how to remain in control in a situation like this. What you can easily do to remain competent, diligent, and cool under pressure during any simulator scenario. Let's consider the following simulator scenario. You have dispatched with the APU inoperative and CM2 is pilot flying. Shortly after takeoff, you get a generator 1 fault which cannot be recovered. At some point, you get another failure, IDG2 overheat, and CM2, as pilot flying, requests ECOM actions. Assuming you are CM1, are you going to set IDG2 to off? Because if you do, you will enter emergency electrical configuration, CM2 will lose his screens, and you lose all the automation. Your workload increases suddenly and significantly, your stress goes up, and your mental capacity goes exactly down when you need it the most. Can such a situation be managed differently? Absolutely yes, if you have sufficient mental capacity to access your knowledge, process it, and project it into the future, also known as situational awareness. That ability to anticipate what will happen when doing what the ECOM tells you to do and think before executing it. If CM1 proactively takes over the controls, the management of this scenario can look totally different.
ECOM actions.
If I switch off the IDG2, we enter emergency electrical configuration and we're going to lose all the automation going into alternate low. How about I take controls and we disengage the automation before they come?
Check. Okay.
I have controls, I have communication.
You have controls and communication.
Autopilot off, flight directors off, bird on, auto thrust off.
Check.
ECOM actions.
Elect IDG2 oil overheat. IDG2 off. Confirm IDG2.
I confirm. Mayday, mayday, mayday. Sim checks are stressful, and the challenge of any simulator check is in fact stress and mental capacity management, which is also a strong indicator of your professional maturity, your ability to remain competent, diligent, and cool under pressure. During a sim check scenario, an examiner can quickly measure your level of professional maturity immediately following the failure, when you have a golden chance to demonstrate that you are able to fly, navigate, communicate, and think before jumping into the ECOM. Let's start by looking at what is going on with your performance during any simulator check. Every time you go for a sim check, the examiner will give you the opportunity to become comfortable and set yourself in the green performance level. You'll go through a briefing, understand the scenario and the initial setup, and clarify any questions with your colleague. Once both of you are ready, the scenario will commence. At some point, an unexpected event may occur, and you may be startled or surprised. Your stress level may increase suddenly and significantly, and if your failure management system is not conditioned for stress, your mental capacity may suddenly and significantly decrease. Your performance will drop and the FFF response may trigger. The question is not if your performance will drop, but by how much and how long will it take to get it back in the green. Before going any further, we need to clarify the basics of Startle, surprise, the FFF, and how they actually impact our performance. Startle is a reflex reaction. For example, this. When you hear a loud noise, you blink and you cannot control it. Imagine you are on a long night flight and you have decided to take a controlled rest. You trust your colleague, you make yourself comfortable, and eventually fall asleep. All of a sudden, you get this. This is Startle. Surprise is different. It is like when you select the gear down and you do not get 3 greens. There is no startle there, but rather a, wow, I was not expecting that kind of feeling. If startle or surprise is perceived as threat or danger, the brain may trigger the fight, flight, or freeze responses, which are instinctive survival mechanisms. What does it practically mean? Fight. You are not going to fight with anyone on the flight deck, I hope, but you may feel an urge to do something immediately and start pushing buttons. Don't. Wait. Sit on your hands. Flight means fleeing away or running away. You can't really run away from the flight deck, but you may run into denial and think something like, oh, this is not happening to me. Or even worse, you can rush into what you have repeatedly done so many times, ICAM actions, before you take care of other important stuff that we are going to talk about. And freeze can result in being unresponsive or paralyzed, holding the stick full aft. The FFF responses are primitive, automatic survival mechanisms, and they are coded in our basic, in our BIOS brain software. They are designed to keep us alive in the wild. To help us handle these powerful, primitive responses when facing unexpected, abnormal, or emergency situations on the flight deck, we'll look at what it takes to upgrade our brain software to the cool under pressure version and condition ourselves for the expected simulator stress. The question is, how long does it take you to recover your performance? Studies have shown that it can take 8 to 10 seconds to recover from startle or surprise. You may have heard instructors suggest to sit on your hands in an event of failure. This makes sense because it is important to wait and not react immediately after something just happened. But do we always have 8 to 10 seconds to sit on our hands? Think of a loss of braking situation or a stall event, TICAS, GPWS pull-up, wind shear. Right, if we don't have 8 to 10 seconds to spare, then we have memory items, procedures that we must know by heart to handle time-critical situations and ensure an immediate safe response instead of the fight, flight, or freeze. The Airbus FCOM lists 10 memory items which have very clear triggers. Here is something very interesting though. According to a document named ECAM System Logic Data, ESLD, there are 916 situations that can trigger an ECAM. And I have a question for you. During a sim check, would you be more worried about managing the 1% of situations, the 10 memory items, or the 99% of the situations which do not have a memory item? And during my last 600 hours of training and checking in the A320 sims, I have been paying close attention to these aspects, and I have noticed that pilots tend to handle the 1% of memory item situations with ease compared to the 99%. The 99% often leads to pilots losing their management structure, resulting in disorganized and sometimes even chaotic management. So, why does this happen? And before we answer this fundamental question, let me kindly ask you something. If you like this topic, this practical human factors approach focused on improving your simulator checks performance, then please let me know. Give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button and the bell icon to receive notifications about new content, and consider sharing it with your friends and colleagues. Use the comments box below to let me know what you think, and if you have any questions or topics that you would like me to address in future videos, content that may help you improve your simulator experience. Now, let's get into the really interesting part of this briefing, and we are going to scratch the surface of neuroscience in a hugely oversimplified and practical, easy to understand way. We have three parts of the brain that play a fundamental role in managing our simulator check performance. First, there is the reptilian brain, which takes care of all the automatic functions of the body, like regulating our temperature, heartbeat, sweating and digestion, and it also tells us when we are hungry and we need to eat. Then there is the hero of our simulator check performance, also known as the chimp. For the chimp, things are binary. They are black or white, good or bad, catastrophe or safe. The chimp easily overreacts on the threat or danger side. And regarding the food, is all about like or complete dislike. Finally, we have the prefrontal cortex, which is our rational brain and the part of our brain responsible for intellectual things like inventing and flying airplanes. We can refer to this brain as our Einstein. This brain considers things like how many calories a dish has or if it's vegan or keto. However, if we are under real survival stress and starving, the reptilian brain will take over and we will eat anything. A less extreme but very practical example is that we should not go grocery shopping when we're hungry, because the chimp brain will make us buy high-calorie food instead of healthier options. It considers an imminent starvation and will prioritize an exaggerated immediate survival solution over anything else. But how does this talk relate to pilots? Well, which brain do you think stores and processes our competencies like knowledge, workload management, leadership and teamwork, and procedure, SOPs? That's right, it's the Einstein brain. And what about flying the aircraft? Flight path management with automation and manual, communication using words, language, standard phraseology and callouts. What about situational awareness? Making a complex analysis of the situation and projecting it into the future. All of these are processes of the Einstein brain. Now, the key question is who makes the decisions? Both the chimp and the Einstein play a role in decision making. The chimp makes intuitive decisions, and if the situation is perceived as threat or danger, it may trigger the FFF responses. On the other hand, Einstein is the brain capable of making rational decisions using structures like Dodar or Fordek to make complex analysis and rational decisions. On this diagram, we can say that there is a green performance level which can only be achieved by using our Einstein capabilities, and an undesirable performance zone where the chimp may take over and trigger the FFF responses. But what happens when we are startled or surprised? And that's called limbic hijack. The chimp takes over and our brain switches into a sort of emergency electrical survival mode where the chimp sheds what it considers to be unessential systems. The available energy is directed towards what the chimp considers essential survival preparation, like dilating our pupils, sharpening our senses, and getting our muscles ready to fight or flight. The problem is that the chimp does not consider Einstein as essential for survival. And this means that Einstein, which holds our competencies, gets disconnected, and the chimp becomes pilot flying. In this chimp-controlled emergency electrical cognitive state, we can lose our structure and can act chaotically. The chimp doesn't know any better, yet, but we can train our chimp. If you want to know how, we need to look at why do memory items seem to work better following startling or surprising situations. And here is the good news. The memory items you have learned and practiced are not just stored in your Einstein brain. They are also stored in your Chimp brain. And by regularly practicing these memory items, you are actually training your Chimp to recognize them as safe responses and trust them as better options than fight, flight, or freeze. This way, when a trigger appears, the Chimp can confidently reach for the memory item instead of automatically going into a panic state. We can train our Chimp. But how can we train our Chimp to manage the 99% of the situations with no stress? Can we create memory items for 916 situations? Definitely not. Research actually suggests that keeping memory items limited in number with clear triggers helps prevent confusion and ensures a safe pilot action in time-critical situations. But before I tell you what I strongly believe that we can easily do to manage the 99% with no Chimp stress, I would like to recommend a great resource for learning more about the Chimp and how to manage it. The Chimp Paradox by Dr. Steve Peters is a book written in simple language for anyone seeking to understand and improve their performance under stress. For the 99%, we need one solution. And this solution is a simple failure management structure, which starts with what we can train our Chimp as a high-level memory item to fly, navigate, communicate, and together with Einstein to think. This memory item ensures a safe initial response to any situation in the 99%. That's why once you learn and practice it, when the Chimp gets to trust this high-level memory item as a better response than FFF, the scenario does not matter anymore. With this high-level memory item software update, the Chimp is able to support Einstein instead of disconnecting him. You can apply this memory item in a matter of seconds. In the most complex cases, still under 1 minute. Most likely, the most important minute in your entire sim check. I call it your sim check's golden minute, during which you can demonstrate that when you are facing an unexpected, startling or surprising situation, you are professionally mature, and with your updated software, your training, you are able to remain cool under pressure and think. Then, using your Einstein resources, your competencies, diligently work your way through the failure management structure to make safe, effective, and efficient decisions. And that's what we are paid for, and that's what we are checking in the sim. Be sure to download the Managing the 99% Summary, a free failure management structure available at a320captain.com, and start considering how you can tailor it in accordance with your company's SOPs. In the upcoming videos, I will delve into each step in detail, beginning with the golden minute, steps 1 and 2. So if you're interested in learning more, remember to like, subscribe, and enable notifications to stay updated on new video releases. If you find this information valuable, please consider sharing it with your friends and colleagues. I welcome your thoughts and suggestions for future topics, so please share them in the comments section below. Thank you for watching, and I wish you many sim checks with no stress and safe flights.